Corroded ground on a T250 can throw a whole scroll of service codes, and not one names the real fault. The factory manual says it plainly. Multiple codes or strange symptoms can all come from one loose or corroded ground. So before you chase a no communication code, you check grounds. That's honest T250 maintenance, and that's this whole video. We'll cover the numbers that actually matter here. 3,300 psi, 9.8 ohms, 12 volts, and what skipping them costs later. Start with where the machine talks to you. Codes appear in the hour meter and code display on the left instrument panel. When a service code is present, the codes scroll. Plural. Watch a full pass before you decide anything. Owners skip that. They see the first number, shut it down, and never learn there were 3 more behind it. That same display also shows base or SHTDN, the shutdown feature. So it's not only a code readout, and the hour meter records operating hours. That number is your real maintenance calendar, not the month on the wall. Here's the item skipped hardest because it costs nothing and nobody can see it. Those ground connections. Corroded or loose grounds cause odd symptoms. The manual tells you to check grounds when things stop making sense. It's a wall outlet that works until you lean on the plug. Intermittent, and it lies to you. So Rule 1, before parts, clean, tight grounds. Rule 2, connectors on the Bobcat controller locked fully into place. Rule 3, look inside those connectors for pins pushed back or bent. A backed-out pin reads exactly like a dead part. Now the codes themselves with the honest warning first. These are the exact codes for this machine. Codes don't transfer. Another generation's numbers mean different things. Never decode by pattern. Match the exact code to this machine's table. The 9 family is fuel. 99 is fuel level low, simple, and usually true. 921 is fuel level out of range high. 922 is out of range low. Those usually mean the sender. Out of range means the signal left a believable window. A tank doesn't jump. A wire or flow does. The 23 and 24 families are rear solenoids. 23.2 is rear base solenoid error ON. 23 is that error off. 24.2 is rear rod solenoid error ON. 24.3 is rear rod solenoid error OF. Base and rod, 2 ends of a cylinder. 37.2 is 2-speed secondary error ON. 37.3 is 2-speed secondary error OF. That's your travel speed circuit complaining. But the family that fills the most screens on a T250 is 32. Handles, actuators, and the ACS system. 3223 is ACS, not calibrated. If the machine got worked on and never calibrated, that code is the receipt. 3231 is tilt actuator fault. 3236 is lift actuator fault. Those two name the actuator itself. 3232 is tilt actuator wiring fault. 3237 is lift actuator wiring fault. Same parts, but the code points at wiring. That distinction is the whole game. Fault versus wiring fault. One buys a part, the other buys an afternoon with a meter. 3233 is tilt handle wiring fault. 3238 is lift handle wiring fault. Now you're back at the operator's hands. Then the neutral codes. 3234, tilt actuator not in neutral. 3239, lift actuator not in neutral. 3235 is tilt handle or pedal not in neutral. 3240 is lift handle or pedal not in neutral. Those 4 are the machine saying something isn't sitting at rest, something is leaning on a control that shouldn't be. 3241 is no communication, nothing's talking, and that's the code that sends people shopping for a controller. Which loops right back to grounds. That's the symptom the manual pins on corroded or loose ground connections. If that just saved you a controller, that's exactly what this channel is for. Plain reads off the factory manual. Stick around. The short circuit codes get specific, and they're the most useful group to learn because they come in pairs. 3249 is lift actuator short to ground. 3250 is tilt actuator short to ground. 3251 is lift actuator short to battery. 3252 is tilt actuator short to battery. Then the handles. 3253, lift handle or pedal short to ground. 3254, tilt handle or pedal short to ground. 3255 is lift handle or pedal short to battery. 3256 is tilt handle or pedal short to battery. Short to ground versus short to battery tells you which way the wire failed. That's a chafe point, not a mystery. 3257 is lift actuator reduced performance. 3258 is tilt actuator reduced performance. The machine still works, just less. That's the one owners run for months. It feels slow, they blame the fluid, and the code sat there the whole time. 3259 is lift actuator wrong direction. 3260 is tilt actuator wrong direction. If a harness was apart recently, start there. Now here's how the ACS system checks itself, and this part explains a repair that looks like it failed. It checks the lift handle sensor, then the lift actuator, then the tilt handle sensor, then the tilt actuator. It stops at the first problem it finds and lights the icon. It doesn't keep going down the list. So one icon can hide a second fault standing behind it. You fix the first, retest, and a new code appears. That isn't your repair failing, that's the check finally getting far enough to see the next thing. The alarm condition also gets recorded as a service code, so read the left panel instead of guessing at a light. Now the pressure numbers, which owners quote wrong more often than anything else on this machine. Main relief on this loader is 330300 psi. That's 22,753 kPa if your gauge speaks metric. And the manual is blunt about the ceiling. Don't exceed 3,300 psi. Not for a test, not to speed up an attachment. Past that you gain nothing. You're just loading hoses, seals, and a pump worth more than the entire job. If pressure comes up short, the fix is adjusting or replacing the main relief valve, following the manual's procedure. But before any of that, warm the fluid. The manual says 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 60 Celsius, before you read anything. Cold fluid is thick. A cold test can read healthy or sick, and neither number is telling you the truth. You warm it by turning the restrictor control on the tester to about 1,000 psi, that's 6,895 kPa, and letting it work. That's the step people skip because it's several quiet minutes of standing there while the machine just runs. Skip it and you'll adjust a relief valve to a lie. Then you chase that adjustment for a whole season. On the high-flow pump, the check runs at system relief pressure and full RPM, reaching 3,250 to 3,300 psi. There's another point in that procedure near 2,800 psi. Follow the manual sequence, not a number somebody typed on a forum. And the warning printed across all these pages, this work is for authorized Bobcat service personnel. That isn't gatekeeping. A relief adjustment on a live system is the kind of mistake that causes injury or death. One more habit the manual repeats constantly. After any adjustment or repair, check for correct function, every single time. It's the cheapest step in the book, and it's what keeps a freshly fixed machine from surprising you at full height. Now the parking brake. Because it has real numbers, you can verify with a meter and a little patience. If every light says the brake should release and it doesn't, start at the brake 30-amp fuse. While you're in there, check the other fuses and check the fuse block for correct orientation. Backwards happens more than you'd think. Check for loose spade connectors in the fuse holder. A connector that's merely touching passes a look and fails under vibration. The solenoid coil should read about 9.8 ohms. That's the spec. Open or shorted tells you immediately where you stand. The solenoid wiring should read 12 volts. Good coil plus good voltage means your problem is mechanical, not electrical. Check the brake solenoid mounting nut for correct torque too. Loose hardware makes an electrically perfect part behave badly. Then check wire connections for a loose connector body and for loose or bent pins. Same 3 failures over and over. There's a charging system check in the manual as well, because a weak charging system fakes half the codes we just covered. On the tracks, the manual gives track damage, the probable cause, and the preventions that minimize it. That's the interval nobody logs, walking the undercarriage. Track damage gets bought slowly and paid for all at once. The exact hour intervals, capacities, and torque values live in the maintenance schedule and specification section. Read the ones for your machine. So here's the honest version, grounds first. Read the entire scroll of codes. Warm the fluid. Never push past 3,300 psi. The machine already told you what's wrong. Most repair bills are just the cost of not reading the panel. The exact specs are in the service manual linked below. Like this if it saved you a guess, and subscribe for daily diagnostics. Next up, the 32 series, one code at a time, traced from the connector back. See you in the shop.